Welcome to the Team Member Perspective podcast training show. My name is Coulter. I am your host, former top producing team member of 6 years. Got to a place where I had systems and processes that allowed me to produce at a high level. And now this is my attempt to helping all of you team members, all of you agencies out there that are hungry, that want to learn more. This is my attempt to bring you some ideas to help you maybe accomplish and put in place different systems and processes, learn different sales skills, learn communication skills to be able to really make more money, help more people. And where I want to start today is the opportunity that the team member role actually is. I think that most team members, and even maybe most agency owners, I think that most view the team member role as a job, not an opportunity. It's like in the way that they think about that role, they're thinking and viewing it and portraying that as a job where it can be a job, but they're not really looking at it as an opportunity. And I think that mindset alone changes the outcome and the experience for different team members, whether they find it to have been helpful or maybe they found the team member role is something where they can make money. I feel like we leave a lot on the table when we're not viewing our team member roles as an opportunity. And in my tenure as a team member, that's how I was thinking about my role as a team member, was this is an opportunity. Like the agent that I'm working for, he's allowing me to make a commission, which means that he's not telling me like, this is all you can make this month. Like there's no limit to how much I could make. And I think because I came from door-to-door sales, and that was my first ever sales job, I think that I had this mindset where I had experienced commission that maybe I didn't have before that allowed me to get into this role and really view it as an opportunity, because it truly is. And I want to hopefully bring more angles as to how the team member role is an opportunity here in this episode. And I guess one of the first things to think about is it's just that. It's an opportunity. If you can make a commission, the agent that you're working for is not telling you this is as much as you can make. You can't make any more than this. Your earning potential is there's really no limit to that, right? What you have a limit for is your time. But when you view it as an opportunity, you view it in that way that like I can make as much as I really want to, which I think is really cool. So I think it's a great place to make a lot of money, make good money. All right, real quick, exciting news. We finally have the Win the Week weekly planners available for insurance team members. If you're in a sales position and you're in the insurance industry, I want you to know you've got unlimited things that you can do every single week, but you've got a limited resource of time. So what you choose to work on matters. My question is, are you using strategy, or are you just flying by the seam of your pants hoping that you hit your goals, hoping that you end up working on the right things? Listen, if you want to get to that next level, if you want to sell more policies than you ever thought possible, if you want to make more money and have that bigger, fatter paycheck, start planning out your weeks. Take time every day, set aside to review your last week, hold yourself accountable, stop waiting for your agent to do that and just do it, right? Be proactive with your accountability, but then also make plans, make adjustments along the way so that you make sure that you're spending your time the best way, the most effective and efficient way possible, and you will work on the right things. And when you work on the right things, you'll start to sell more. So again, Win the Week weekly planner for team members is available. Check the comments below for a link to purchase, and we'll get you back to the training. Secondly, I think it's also a place that allows you to learn the ropes of what it really is like to be a producer, to be a team member, if your end goal is to be an agency owner. I think it gives you an inside look into what is expected for your future team to do so that you can win. I think that experience allows you to maybe operate your agency at a maybe deeper, more fruitful level. Let's just put it that way. Okay, I think that experience, there's something to say about that experience because, being on the front lines, if you've never been on the front lines, you don't know really what resonates and what doesn't with your people. But I think that experience gives you an edge, okay? So I think it helps set you up if you do want to have your own agency at some point, okay? Now, if you don't, it's still a phenomenal opportunity where if you don't have a desire to run a business, own a business, and you really just want a good opportunity where you still grow and you can write the paycheck that you want to write every month, I think it's a phenomenal opportunity. I think it's overlooked. It's underappreciated, okay? And I think the third reason that's really been on my mind lately is that it really is like a school for you. It's a school for someone to come in and learn how to sell. It truly is the perfect place for anybody to learn certain sales skills. Learn how to understand a little bit about people and how people make decisions. Learn, what they're thinking about, how they're feeling, and be able to be influential, right? But also be able to help a lot of people. But I think the skills that you can learn as a team member, that is overlooked. And these skills, these sales skills, learning how to influence, learning how to help people help themselves, learning how to get people and challenge their way of thinking and help them change to be able to have your product or your service help them. I think that skill alone is one that will pay you for the rest of your life. It is one that will help you in every area of your life, whether you realize it or not. Your ability to influence, your ability to understand people and help people will directly correlate to the money that you make in your life. I truly believe that. And I truly believe that being able to learn how to understand people, right? You hear me talk about this a lot as I talk about sales because I truly feel that sales has this bad rap that people think that sales is something different than it actually is. For me, what sales is helping people change. And if we get specific and granular into insurance, it's helping people look at their exposure a little bit differently and maybe identify problems that they didn't know that they maybe had, and then offering them a solution to solve that problem. Because here's the thing is like with insurance, and each industry has its nuances, I believe. With insurance, it's people don't understand the risks. They don't understand the exposures. They don't understand the problem that they have. And I think it makes it challenging for people that come in and they're new to insurance, they're new to sales, to help people sell this product to people that don't even know that they have a problem in the first place. And so what we run into a lot is a lot of team members get into the business and they're immediate, like they have this fire and they're ready to go out and have conversations and just put in the work, right? Put in the grind. But what they don't realize is that they're like, what I see is that these newer team members, it's almost like they're pushing products. Or even most team members, honestly, I feel like they're pushing products. They're talking about life insurance. They're talking about short-term disability insurance. They're talking about umbrella insurance, right? That's just it. They're talking about the product to people that don't think they have a problem to be solved by that product. And so it's like we missed this piece, but it's understanding our customers. It's understanding people that allows us to understand that we need that piece, right? Think about it this way. If you don't feel like you have a problem, or let's say that maybe your problem in your mind is really small, like it's not a big deal, it can wait. How much do you want to solve this problem that you don't think is a problem or you think is a small problem that can wait? How much urgency do you have to solve this problem you don't think you have, or the smaller problem that you think that is really not a big deal? How much weight does my solution carry for you to this problem you don't think you have, you don't know you have, or this small problem that you're like, okay, it can wait? How much weight does my solution to get life insurance carry for a problem that you don't even think you have around life insurance? It doesn't carry much weight at all. And so that is the difficult thing with insurance. It's for people, it's like insurance just feels, people don't like insurance, right? People don't understand insurance, which I think is the biggest issue out there, is that insurance is complex. We're never taught insurance in schools. You're forced to learn insurance when you get kicked off of mom and dad's policies. And even when you get kicked off, you still don't understand insurance. Go ask 10 of your customers today if they understand their liability insurance on their car insurance. I guarantee you 80% are going to tell you they don't. And maybe those other two, they just don't want to maybe look silly in front of you, or maybe they think they know, but they actually don't know, or possibly you have people that actually do know, which is very rare, right? But it makes selling a little bit difficult if we don't understand people, if we don't understand the nature of the business and people's understanding of that industry, right? Like people don't understand insurance, and so they don't know they have problems. And so we're trying to push this product to solve this problem that people don't even know they have. And so that is learning how to sell, is learning about people. We are in the people business. We're not in the insurance business. The more that you understand about your prospect, the easier it will be for you to sell. But what I see far too often, and a lot of agents will still ask me to this day, do you guys do any like product training? And my answer is no, because we're going to do prospect training. In training in general, I think most are spending way too much time on product training and not enough on prospect training. What do you think that your team members, the more competence that they have in a product, the more that they understand it, do you think that's going to help them sell it more? Okay, there might be a degree to where you're like, yeah, I actually do feel like it would. And I agree with you, okay? But what if they don't know how to really get into the conversation in a way where the customer doesn't immediately put up their wall? What if they don't know how to do that, but they know everything about the product? What if they don't really know how to deliver the value of that product, but they know everything about the product, right? What if they don't know how to, what if they don't understand that there's certain words that they're saying, certain words that they're using that's actually triggering in their prospects and customers' minds, and that they're actually setting themselves up for objections, but they know everything about the product, right? And here's the other thing, right? And I know it sounds like I'm bagging product knowledge, but truthfully, at the end of the day, I'm not. I think it's important, but it's something that we talk about too much that can actually be solved 10 minutes a day for a couple weeks, right? If you're a team member listening to this and you're like, man, you find yourself saying that to yourself, which I've been there, guys. Insurance is complex, okay? And there's a lot to learn and a lot to continue to keep on learning about the product, that it can feel overwhelming. I 100% agree with that. But what happens is when I see, number one, I see that a lot of team members and even agents will continue to say that they need more product training. They'll continue to say that they need more product training. The more that they understand the product, the more confident you can be in a conversation. And they put it off, where it's like the solution is literally 10 minutes every single morning. Go and learn something about the product. Go and study the products. The ones that you're talking about the most, like at least start there, right? And the thing is like, you have access to those resources. That's literally at your fingertips, and it's explained really well. But also go Google it and use some other things to supplement your product knowledge training. But it's something that we think we need more of, but what we don't realize, it's actually not going to take that long. What's more of an art, and what's more of a skill, and what's more of a science, and where we should be spending the majority of our time training our teams is not on that product knowledge training. It's on the prospect training. It's helping teach them about people, helping them understand what their customers and their prospects are thinking with every interaction that they have with them. It's helping them understand how to make, to be able to talk about the product that they want. It's teaching them how to construct a sales presentation that has very simple elements of, number one, helping the customer identify and understand the problem, help them understand the exposure, help them understand the risk, help them understand the gap. The first part of the presentation. The second part is to talk to them and offer them a solution to this problem. And then the third part, which is very important, is to explain how they will benefit, how the customer benefits, and how the customer's family benefits. And spend more time helping our team learn how to deliver the price. Because I find that these are the skills and the knowledge that has helped me the most in my professional career. It's made me the most money. It's given me the most confidence. It has allowed me to experience more fulfillment. It's helped me really grow and have more skills, more human skills, more understanding people skills, more social skills. And these are all things that can be learned, but we're not focusing on them. We think that we're looking for all these different systems and processes and special ways to say things and understanding the product like the back of our hand, and we think that's going to solve everything. And then when it doesn't, we're frustrated. It's because our people don't know how to sell. Our people don't understand people. They don't understand persuasion. They don't understand human behavior. But really, they've never been given an opportunity to sell, right? And you might have team members that have been with you for 20 plus years. My question is, have you provided them any sort of sales and persuasion training? Have you helped them understand human behavior better? Or have you just focused on product training? Okay. Now, again, product training is important, but I think it's almost like an excuse that we give ourselves to maybe make ourselves feel better that for the lack of our team's production. I don't know. Maybe that's your excuse that you're giving yourself for the lack of your production as a team member. But my hope is that you can really spend more time on prospect training, on customer training, on sales training, human behavior training, learning how to be compelling, learning how to prevent objections, learning how to overcome objections, learning where all of the opportunities are in your agency, learning how to prospect, learning how to manage your calendar, learning how to manage your time, learning how to prioritize certain things. I think let's spend more time doing that. And that's where I think the dots start to connect. And all of a sudden we're hitting our production goals and we're surpassing them every single year. So that was not really what I was planning on talking about in this episode, but I got going and it's been on my mind. And so I hope that you found value with that. The last thing that I was going to say about product training, now that came back to me, is I think product training is good, okay? Don't get me wrong, but you know how I feel about it. I think we spend too much time there. I also think that when team members and people, when we know almost too much about the product, we know too much about it, it makes it hard for us to communicate that knowledge simply to someone else, right? We start using these complex terms, and because our knowledge is there, it's like we want to show that we know a lot about it. And so we explain in very complex terms and in ways that's fairly difficult to understand unless you've been studying it like you have. When we know too much, a lot of times we don't realize that we might be at a disadvantage, or our team members might be at a disadvantage because of that reason. Okay, so understanding the product's good, and the more you understand the product, just really make sure that you're delivering it very simply. Like your explanation of the product and what it does and everything, it should really be able to be understood by a third grader. Like it really should be able to be understood by your 75-year-old neighbor, Carol, or maybe your sister-in-law that's 22. Like we want to make sure that we're explaining it simply enough to where all of these people can understand it, right? And the thing is, when we communicate complexity, it causes analysis paralysis. People don't feel comfortable making the decision because they don't feel like they understand it. But when we keep it simple, that's when things make a lot of sense, right? It's the industry. People don't understand insurance. It's a complex arena. And so when we talk about it in a complex way, people don't get that. But when we talk about it simply, it makes sense for people, and then they can really understand why it would be important for them to have. And so, guys, I'm excited to announce that for the next, we're going to do a 7-part video series on sales process, okay? And each of these 7 parts is one piece to the sales process for team members to sell a lot of insurance. The sales process that will bring structure to your day as a team member, that will help you to really understand each element of this process, that will help you to make more money, that will help you to sell more policies. And over the course of the next 7 video series, like we're going to be getting into that process. And I believe that the more structure that we can bring to our role as a team member, to our agency as a whole, and even really to our life, the more structure that we can bring, the more consistent that we'll become, the more repeatable that this will be for us right now, in the future, for our current teams and for future teams. The more structure we can bring, the easier it is to replicate. And so that's my hope, is to really do a deep dive into sales process. And I think that it's a term that's overused, that our teams hear sales process, but they don't actually know what it means. And I would argue that a lot of you listening to this, you hear that word and you don't actually know what it means. And so this will be my attempt to making things even more simple for you. Because when things are simple for me, I can repeat them. And when I can repeat them over an extended period of time consistently, that is when I find results, and consistent results. And that is when I'm able to scale my production. Okay, so we're going to get into that over the next 7 videos, podcast trainings, and I hope that you find some value. But my hope is that you can look into this and really evaluate your process. I believe that all self-improvement starts with self-awareness. So what I find myself doing a lot in coaching team members and coaching agencies and even coaching agents is that we spend a lot of time on discovery and really trying to understand, what are these team members doing that might be not the most efficient and effective use of their time, that we can remove or maybe delegate, but also what are they not doing that they should be doing? And I find that's where we find out a lot about different team members, different agencies, and we can really define and figure out exactly what we should focus on with them. But we do a lot of discovery. And so my hope is that you can have that lens. You can think about, over the next 7 videos, this 7 video series, you can really think about, like, what's my version of this, and evaluate the effectiveness and the efficiency of what you're currently doing. Because there's levels to this game. And I would argue if you've been in insurance for a couple years, I would hope that you're playing at a different level than you were maybe a year and a half ago. And if you're listening to this podcast, if you don't feel like you're playing at a different level from what we've shared on the podcast, please reach out. Would love to see how I can help. But my hope is that this has been valuable for you to get maybe to a new level. It's a game of inches, but because there's levels below where we're playing, right? There's also levels above where we currently are. And so my hope is that as you go throughout this series, that you can really pinpoint different things that can maybe take you to that next level. So appreciate you guys. And we're looking forward to that 7-part video series.